Welcome back to another Scrum Event Agendas walkthrough, this time for the Sprint Retrospective. And just as before, we're going to start with go to pragmaticshift.com, my wonderful website. Then you're going to go to blog. From the blog, you're going to see Scrum Event Agendas, Sprint Retrospective. We click that one, very nice. And then you can see here, just as with the others, it's another simple agenda and silly comic, but one way of doing the Sprint Retrospectives. It is by no means the best way, right way, or the only way to do it, but it is a way to do it. So if you're feeling stuck, you can start here. You can use that as inspiration just to see what on earth I've been doing. Or if you want to share it, use it, edit it, it's entirely up to you. It's created with Creative Commons. I would, however, love to hear from you. It's super helpful, be it a comment here on YouTube if you're watching the video. If you're downloading it from the website, feel free to click this link, send us an email via the contact us, or set up a catch-up via the Calendly Zoom. But if all you want is the PDF, the way to do it, well, you just click the free PDF link down here and it'll download it for you. You click this icon, it'll download it. Get this one. I realize now it's not a PDF, it's a PNG, but that's right, we'll work with it anyway. And then you get this file right here. There's no signups, there's no newsletters, you just get the file for free. Nice and simple. I like to avoid unnecessary newsletters when I can. So let's talk through it. Same format as before. Big name of the event at the top, the overall agenda, the inputs, the outputs, and the 6-panel column. So the agenda then, well, it follows that 5-step format inspired by the Agile retrospectives by setting the stage, gathering data, generating insights, and deciding what to do. So first we might set the stage by reminding everyone of any agreements and or themes of the session. This might be something we identified during the sprint that we said, hey, you know what, we should probably talk about this. Or maybe we agree then and there to see where it takes us during the event. Who knows? Then we might gather data, or we should gather data from any relevant artifacts, or maybe we generate them using facilitated exercises. Also very common. Things like brainstorming, sticky storming, whatever it might be, just to get ideas and thoughts about what happened out there. Could be looking at your sprint backlog, your part backlog, your definitions of done. See what are these things telling you? Have we got more technical debt than before? Have we got more bugs introduced that we didn't realize? Whatever it might be. And then we want to generate insights based on that data by looking for patterns and root causes that we can work with, right? That we can act on to continue improving. Again, common thing there is things like the 5 whys, looking for affinity mapping, whatever it might be, just to figure out what's the real issue here and what we're going to do about it. And then, very importantly, we decide what to do about it, right? We decide what to do in order to improve the quality of our work and the effectiveness of ourselves as a team, as a Scrum team. We then, of course, try and implement any of those improvements that we identify immediately if we can. So if it's a change to the definition of done or any of our processes and tools within the working agreement, etc., we might just make those changes then and there. Even better, even easier. Always helpful. If it's something we might not be able to do within the sprint retrospective itself, a larger experiment, not necessarily in terms of the improvement we think it'll make, but the amount of time it'll take to run that experiment to do the improvement, we might add that to the sprint backlog. You don't have to, but I would certainly recommend it. And I also recommend in any sprint retrospective is focus on 1, 2, no more than 3 things to improve at any given time. We want to be empirical about this, right? We want to use a scientific approach to this. Don't mess with too many variables at any given time because, well, usually then you don't know what actually improved things. And if you take on too many things, well, you'll get that kind of diffusion of accountability where we end up not doing any of them. Yes, we took on more stuff, but we actually end up not delivering any of them. And then we finally close the session. We make sure to thank everyone for the time and effort and energy. Even if it was very, very low energy, time, and effort, everyone still showed up and everyone still did something to be there. And we should be grateful for that, right? They're adults, they're professionals. They don't have to eat. They have other options in life. They could go for a walk, but they chose to spend their time with us. We should be thankful for that, right? We should appreciate each other. The inputs then, well, it's everything that happens in the sprint, right? Anything and everything we do within the sprint. Maybe even a couple of sprints worth of data because maybe we're looking at larger macro patterns. We bring in the Scrum team, of course. If you're multiple Scrum teams working on the same product, maybe you're bringing all of the Scrum teams for a larger team of teams retrospective. Then you want to look at all your processes and tools, of which the definition of done and working agreement are, of course, part of it. and the output should be a more effective Scrum team. Ultimately, that is what it's there for. And don't knock smaller improvements. Even a 1% improvement with a 1-month sprint, over a year, that's a 12% improvement, not accounting for accumulative improvement, right? That's quite a big deal. If you have shorter sprints than a month, it's going to be even more impactful. So even small improvements very quickly add up to great things. What about the 6-panel comic then? Well, let's read through it quickly together. Again, just to kind of visualize and how some of these interactions might look like when we kind of do it the way we were hoping to do it. So first, wow, this sprint flew by. We want to try and do it this well again. So far, so good. We had a good sprint. We want to try and replicate that. That's always a good thing. Don't always focus on the negatives. Sometimes focus on how to replicate the positives. Let's figure out not just how we did it, but how to do it even better next time. Not just how to do the positive thing, but maybe how to fix some gaps in some negative stuff that happened as well, perhaps. Saying, okay, well, we tried swarming around that tricky problem, and yeah, the integration issue we were swarming around, that hurt. So, I wouldn't have been able to figure that on my own. And then someone says, oh, product owner, hey, I noticed you were more available in the mornings as well. So that was nice. And then, all right, well, but think having you around in the mornings help with the swarming sessions, product owner. We're trying to generate insights here. We've done the introduction, we've done the data gathering, now we're generating insights. So we go, okay, well, having you available in the morning help with swarming, product owner, because they were there, they could clarify assumptions and issues and make things clear to the rest of the Scrum team, which is always useful. And things like the integration issue could have been avoided if we perhaps reviewed each other's solutions with each other as we do the work. So if we do some kind of peer reviewing, and then someone else maybe says, okay, well, maybe it's not about the swarming per se, but rather avoiding problem solving in a silo, right? Okay, so now that we move on to deciding what to do we add swarm all problems to the working agreement then? That's a bit excessive, perhaps. Maybe just peer reviews or peer development is enough. All right, peer development and peer reviews, that sounds feasible. All right, we can still swarm as needed. Right? It's not disallowed, it's just not part of our agreed standard way of working. Okay. So then we'll add peer reviewed to the definition of done. That has to have been peer reviewed for it to be considered done. And we're going to add peer development to our working agreement as a way of saying that, hey, when we work together, we are agreeing that we should do peer development on the items in the sprint backlog. And that way we can start immediately next sprint delivering against this. That should lead to easier integration and less bugs, hopefully. And if it doesn't, well, we can use what we learn the next sprint to run a different experiment based on what we learned. And that's it. That is the sprint retrospective. It's of course rarely that painless as in the 6-panel comic, but the idea is the same. Look at what happened. What do we think was the cause of the issue or the improvement? How do we replicate that or fix that? And then we do that. Then we actually do the improvement. That is the most important part of the retrospective. It's all well and good making the issues visible, but if we don't actually address them, if we don't actually fix them, you've effectively kind of wasted each other's time. It's not intended as a therapy session. It's intended as a problem identifying and solving session so we can improve, become a more effective Scrum team going forward. And that's it. That's the sprint retrospective. I hope it's going to be useful to you. I'd love to hear any and all of your input and feedback on it, either in the comments or again by reaching out to me directly. And if you find this kind of stuff helpful, to do the traditional YouTube thing, feel free to like the video, subscribe. More stuff like this will be coming out on the website and on the YouTube channel. And I wish you the very best of luck. You take care.